Okay, so we're going to be teaching your dog to bark on cue. Now, you've got a problem with your dog barking. You're going to think, why on earth would I be teaching them to bark if that's what the problem is? The answer is that once you've taught them to bark on cue, that's it, that's the crux of the matter, on cue, then you can also teach them to be quiet with a cue. Okay, so the first stage is that you teach them to speak or bark, which is actually a cool dog trick as well. How are you going to do it? Lots of behaviours that I teach and tricks that I teach, I actually teach by using a food lure. So for example, if I was teaching a spin, I would lure Jambo right round into a spin, yes, and I would mark and reward. Something like speaking or barking, I can't do that with a food lure. So what I'm going to do is capture it. Now by capturing, what I mean is that when the behaviour occurs, I am going to mark and reward and therefore reinforce that behaviour. So you're going to do it by using some sort of prompt. If your dog normally barks, for example, when your doorbell rings, then that's exactly what you're going to set up. You're going to set them up so that somebody's going to ring the doorbell, you're going to ask them to bark, somebody rings the bell, and you're then going to reward them as soon as they do bark. If, for example, your dog barks when somebody knocks at the door, then that's what you're going to use in order to capture the behaviour. Okay, quick demonstration would be if I were to say to Jambo, Jambo, speak! More speak! Yes, and I got both of them. Okay, so that is a speak or a bark on cue. Now you can also use a hand signal, and my hand signal for this is literally my hands doing this, like somebody opening and closing their mouth. Now you don't have to use the word speak, that's what I use with Jambo. You can use the word bark. Actually, with Tessa, I taught her the word guard. Tessa, guard! Yes. And with the guard, I also get a nice little jump, which I marked and rewarded. So remember that, you get actually what you reward. What we did is I got a friend to go outside and actually to knock on the door. So let's just see if we can get them to bark by somebody knocking on the door. What's that? What's that? Oh, yes. And as you can see, just by encouraging a little bit, I got a little bit of a bark from Jambo. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's see if somebody can knock on the door again. Tessa, what's that? Yes. And that is basically how you're going to get your dogs to speak. Now, if somebody knocking on the door doesn't work, maybe your dogs bark when your doorbell rings. So you could get somebody to go out and ring the doorbell. They bark and you mark and reward. Now, eventually what you're going to do, when they've done this several times, is you'll add in the cue. And you'll add in the cue before the knock. So we'll just do that again, and I'm going to say the cue, and then my assistant is going to knock for me, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to ask them, speak. We didn't even have the knock then, did we? Have we to do that again? Speak. Yes. Now, they did it straight away because they know the cue. But with your dogs, you'll probably find that you'll ask them to speak, they won't do anything, but then somebody will knock or ring your doorbell, and then they'll bark, at which point you mark and reward. And that's it. That's how you teach your dog to speak. Okay, Jambo, speak. More speak. More speak. Tessa, speak. And that's Tessa and Jambo speaking. You would say speak, and then somebody would knock. Yes, and your dog speaks and you reward. Yes, and that's because I said speak again. Okay, so I'll show you again. So you say speak, and if they don't do anything, somebody knocks. You say, who's that?